Entering a new room, especially as an introvert, has always been one of those things that I need to work on. And I know that sounds really funny, especially coming from someone who makes a living out of speaking in front of people, whether it is on camera or in person. But it did take me a while to figure out how to step into a room with a sense of ownership, with a sense of I deserve to be heard, and what I have to say is about to impact people in a positive way. So, what I would love to do today on Sincerely Speaking is just share with you the three shifts, the three things that I got to focus on that allowed me to step into any room and actually own any room that I'm in. So if you're ready to make an impact, if you're ready to elevate your speaking ability, if you have understood through our conversations and our interactions that communication and effective transformative communication is key to leadership and to stepping into your next level, then stick around because this conversation is going to give you the three keys that are going to allow you to own any room and land any conversation. You need confidence to move forward. Without confidence, you can't really achieve that dream, desire, calling, or lofty element, venture that you've had in your heart to do. Have you heard that before? That's what most experts and gurus out there sell you. Well, I have a slightly different take on it. I believe that you and I can create a feeling and a sense of confidence on demand that can propel us forward without us having to jump through all the hoops and try to figure out all the things that the gurus never really tell you how to do anyway. So if you have been struggling with this notion that you need more confidence, or if you simply have a goal, a dream, an aspiration, a movement, something that you want to start in this world, an impact that you want to have in others, and an influence that you want to use to support and help and do some good out there in the world, then I invite you to head on over to confidence.marciamaro.com, where you are going to find an amazing offer for my course, Confidence on Demand, which will give you the three secrets to generating that feeling and that sense of confidence when and where you need it. So again, head on over to confidence.marciamaro.com and take advantage of this opportunity to generate and create confidence when and where you need it. And in the meantime, stick around and chat with me here on Sincerely Speaking. See you soon. So I used to be very, very, very not just introverted, and it wasn't that I was shy necessarily, but I was very reserved in my interactions with people. I guess that's the best way to put it. I would be perfectly comfortable entering a room, standing in a corner, or sitting somewhere quietly, spend an hour or two just observing people, and never really interact with anybody. And it took me a long while, even while I was a teacher, to get to the space where I could step into a class, step into a classroom and teach and feel ownership of the room and feel like I could take up space and do the things that I needed to do and actually command people's attention. See, one of the things that I've noticed is that very often people start developing this idea or working on this notion that they get to speak out, share their message, share their voice, but then they start doing it and people don't seem to be listening. There seems to be a disconnect between what they're doing and what they're saying and how people are reacting or what people are doing with that information. So, the three keys that we are going to discuss today are going to help you not just have a sense of, I belong here and I deserve to be heard and I get to command attention in this space. But they will also allow you to connect with people. And actually, that's one of the things that we're going to talk about in a minute. But it's going to allow you to create this rapport and this interaction, right? This synchronicity and this space of exchange with the people that you're talking to that is going to allow you to not just speak out and speak out confidently, but that is going to allow you to connect in a way that allows for enrollment, that allows for growth on both parts, and that allows you to feel like there has been relationship built and nurtured through the space of your speaking and of your interaction with whoever it is that you're talking to, so that at the end, the process of speaking feels more meaningful and more fulfilling overall. So if you're ready to own any room that you step in, these are the three things that we get to focus on. And I'm going to tell you what they are, and then I'm going to expand on them a little bit. So they are conviction, connection and transformation. Conviction, connection, and transformation. So the first thing is conviction. I'm sorry, conviction. So I've told you repeatedly, and this is a big part of what I do specifically with my clients and in the group coachings that I do and all these things. If you don't lead yourself first, if you don't enroll yourself first in whatever it is that you're doing, then it's very, very difficult, almost impossible, to enroll or invite anybody else to follow you and to be led by you and to listen to what you have to say and believe it if you don't believe it yourself. So, the very first thing that I got to work on and that I'm inviting you to consider is how much conviction do you have behind what you're saying? How convinced are you that what you're saying is going to be important and impactful and meaningful, not just to you, but to the people listening? How convinced are you that what you're sharing is information that is proven, that actually works, that yields the results that you're promising and that you're bringing to the people, that actually will take people one step closer to where they want to be, and that provides the best information you have available to support and aid them in moving in the direction that they want to move in? Until I realized that a big part of the issue that I was having was that my conviction level wasn't where it needed to be. It was nearly impossible for me to step into any room, including a classroom, without feeling less than deserving of their attention. And therefore, I did not command their attention because I wasn't sure I deserved it or that I could earn it, right? So, going to the classroom, for example, every year, every single year, I got into my classrooms in front of new groups of students, and I felt this sense of, oh my gosh, what am I going to find? How am I going to be able to deal with these kids? Am I going to be able to earn their trust? Am I going to be able to command their attention? And am I going to be able to manage the classroom in a way that is positive and effective? And then eventually I realized that what was causing that was that I didn't feel quite as convinced that what I had to bring was something that would elevate their lives in some way, was something that would resonate and be meaningful to them, that would be relevant to their lives. So the more work I did over the summer to prepare in a way that I knew was going to be relevant to them, the more I could step into that classroom being honest and saying, look, I'm going to teach you something that to you right now feels useless, but just follow me and see how I connect things to your everyday life, how we are going to make this not just meaningful, but important in your day to day existence. And when I was able to say those things and mean them and own them and know that they were true, I was still nervous, but it wasn't this sense of, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? This sense of impending doom. I walked into these rooms with enough conviction to have them borrow my conviction, even if they didn't have any, right? And that sense of conviction, that sense of, I know I'm bringing something that is going to be life altering for you. I know that I'm bringing something that is impactful, that works, that is going to make your life better, that is going to support you in some way. And I know that this is the way it's going to happen. Changed my life forever. It even changed my ability to sell because I no longer get this, I need to talk to my husband objection, or I need to think about it objection as much. And if I do get it, I can battle it like that because it's a matter of conviction. I can then use my conviction, transfer it to the person I'm talking to. And not just that, but I can ask them directly, look, are you convinced that this is your next best step? Are you convinced that this is what is going to take you where you want to go, or at least get you closer? Because if you're convinced, then you're going to be able to convince whoever it is that you need to convince in your life, and they will see the conviction in your eyes and they will follow you. They will not question it. But if you are not convinced, then it doesn't matter what you say. It's going to come across as, I'm not sure. I don't know that this is it. Maybe, maybe not. And that's what they're going to see. And they're going to want to protect you. And therefore, they're going to tell you not to do it. So it depends on your level of conviction and how enrolled you are in your own view of this thing, right? So when you step into a room with conviction, with the belief, with the understanding that you get to bring something that is going to be meaningful, powerful, and productive, and that nobody else can bring it the way you can, then that is going to be the first and most important step and you being able to create a space where you feel like you own the room, where you are heard, and where people cannot ignore you, right? So that's conviction. The second one is connection. It is important to create a connection with the people that you're talking to. And the easiest way to do this is to go from people to person. And I'm going to explain what I mean by that. When I first started speaking in public, the thought and the notion of standing in front of hundreds, maybe even thousands of people was frightening, was nerve wracking. It was something that drove me to tears and made my knees knock. I was so nervous and so terrified until I realized that speaking in front of groups is the same thing as having a one on one conversation, only there's other people listening. When I realized that, the trick is understanding that you get to talk to one person at a time, then that shifts everything. In the classroom, I never intended to talk to everybody at the same time. Yes, everybody was listening to me, and I was attempting to present things in a way that would make sense to most of the class. But I was having one on one conversations with specific students. I was looking them in the eye, I was watching their reaction. Then I would switch to another one and I would talk to that one specifically and directly, and so on and so forth until I was sure that I had connected with everybody in the room. Now, in a large audience, it might be harder to connect with everybody, but believe me when I tell you that if you go in there with the intention of connecting with one person at a time, that is going to make it feel to others like you're really trying to connect with them, even if you're not specifically looking at them. What makes everybody feel disconnected is when you try to talk to a mass of people and then you're like, well, everybody and all of you, and so you make it so broad and so expansive that it's hard for them to place themselves in that connected space. And therefore, you lose them. So when you go from speaking in plural, speaking in singular, like you, and you understand, and you know, and you see, and I'm talking to you and no one else but you, and in a group of many people, you go from one person, have a conversation with that person, then shift to another person, have a conversation with that person, and so on and so forth. And you find people around the room that you can connect with. That is going to allow you, believe it or not, to create connection even with those to whom you're not directly speaking. Because unless you call them out by name, they just see you looking in a general direction. They don't know specifically who you're looking at, specifically, especially if there's spotlights and stuff, right? So just have a conversation one on one with one person at a time, knowing that that is going to allow you to connect with everybody at a more personal, deeper level. And the other thing that you can do for connection is invite engagement, right? And that's a conversation for another time. There's many techniques that you can use for engagement, but if throughout your conversation you're inviting them to respond, you're inviting them to answer questions, you're inviting them to movement and to doing things. Raise your hand, type in the chat. Let me know if, what is your experience with? Let me know. Talk to me about this. And you're inviting interaction that allows for connection as well. All right. And the third thing is transformation. And this is the part where a lot of us miss the mark. We tend to think about, okay, I'm going to be speaking in front of people. And if it's a presentation that you're given, you come up with a topic, you come up with the points, you come up with the things you want to say. But we seldom stop to think about what is the transformation that I'm inviting this person that I'm talking to. And remember, we're talking singular. What is the transformation that I'm inviting this person that I'm talking to into exploring and into engaging in? And once I know what is the transformation, what do they enter the room as, and how do I want them to leave, or what do I want them to consider after they leave? One of the things that forces me to think about is how relevant can I make this for this person? What specific issue, problem, mindset, situation can I address directly and invite them into considering options and other possibilities so that in the end, this person that I'm talking to feels like they have the tools, the potential, the ability to transform the situation that they entered the room with. So it doesn't matter what kind of interaction we're talking about. It could be a meeting at work, right? And if we know that the meeting at work is meant to address X issue, Or if, as the meeting starts progressing, I hear that they're talking about X situation, and I can address it from a transformational mindset, where I am looking to give them a way to see this differently, where I am looking to help them understand other potentials and possibilities, where I am helping them see that they don't have to stay where they're at, that there is another level, that there is another step, that there is at least one more level forward, then I will be able to invite them into the conversation, to engage them, and to help them see that what I'm saying is worth listening to. And therefore, I will get command of at least that part of the conversation. I will own the room while I am speaking, and people will feel compelled to listen. People will feel like what I am saying is worth paying attention to. And therefore, I will experience a greater sense of owning the room and of knowing what I am saying is heard and people are paying attention. Now, I know this all sounds like, oh, all me, 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 me. But here's the thing, if you want to have an impact, if you know that you are meant to be a leading entity within the space that you're at, that you are meant to lead in some way, that you are meant to support other people, that you have knowledge and skill and ability and talents and wisdom to share that is going to positively impact others and positively shift the atmosphere, then it is your responsibility, your moral imperative to be heard and to command that room so that in the end there is achievement in the conversation, there is transformation and positive change in the conversation, and so that you can leave the space knowing that you gave what you had inside of you to give, and so that you can feel the satisfaction and the fulfillment of knowing that in the end your contribution was actually a positive one that shifted everybody in a more empowered and more productive direction. Yes, of course, there are other elements that fall into play that could help you have even greater command of the room, that could help you feel like you are doing something that is impactful and that is changing and altering the way people see the situation. And if you would like to know how to start activating these other things, go and check out confidence.marciamaro.com, where you will find my course Create Confidence on Demand at a sale price that I don't know how long it's going to last. I'm shifting things, I'm starting new things, so that's another thing. Pay attention because new things are coming and I'm really excited about them. But go for now to confidence.marciamaro.com and purchase my course Create Confidence on Demand so that you can start shifting the things that are going to allow you to step into any situation with authenticity, with authority, and with the conviction that you are there to make a difference. All right, so go to confidence.marciamaro.com. Follow me on social media, especially Instagram, and make sure that I know you're there, and we will continue to share with each other. And I'll see you next time here on Sincerely Speaking. Share this with someone new. Talk soon.